So first up, Philippe Karsenty, best known for standing up to France 2 TV when they reported the hoax story of Mohamed Al Dura, the Arab boy they claimed the Israeli army killed. Philippe has been traveling across the US to expose the truth and inform people about the European situation for Jews and non-Jews. He's the vice mayor of Neuilly, France. We welcome a courageous friend of the AFA, Philippe Karsenty.
Thank you so much, Larry. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Michael, for having been able to put this conference. I'm really happy and honored to be here. I'm so proud to be with this club, you know, so big, important people in this fight, so it's really a privilege for me to be here. But before starting my short presentation, I'd like to tell you something. I need to tell you something that I have to take into consideration that you are taping me now, that my words will be online, and that as soon as it will be online, the French mainstream media will try to look at any word, any sentence I said, in order to distort it, in order to transform my message, and in order to discredit me and ruin my public position in France. So that's very important that you understand that I need to be very careful. So when you live in Europe, telling the truth about Islam can lead you to two kinds of fatwas. There is the one coming from the imam who wants to kill you, of course, and there is the one coming from the mainstream media. So when it comes to Islam and immigration, there is no more freedom of speech in Europe, of course. You can talk about it once, but as soon as you are detected by their intellectual police, you are definitely barred from the mainstream media, who are deliberately singling you out. This is a kind of intellectual terrorism which prevents people from telling the truth. Of course, you remember Theo van Gogh. You can remember also Salman Rushdie and so many European intellectuals who have to be now under a very hard protection. And if you dare to resist to their intellectual terrorism, you can experience what I experienced for 15 years. They're suing you and they're trying to make you silence with the justice. So after the two kinds of fatwas, I'd like to tell you about the two kinds of jihads. There is, of course, the violent jihad and the civilizational jihad. So these two kinds of jihad. Of course, in France, when you have the violent jihad which strikes, you get the first reflex of the mainstream media is to underplay the Islamic nature of the killers. For example, they inform you of the nationality of the terrorist. But who cares if he's German, Italian, French, or whatever? What is important is what motivated his act, okay? Did he scream, God save the Queen? Did he scream, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité? Long life Jesus, or Mashiach now? No, he said, Allahu Akbar. So that's the most important thing. What is the motivation? And in order, of course, to undermine the understanding of the people, they call them lunatics, always lunatics. And of course, also try to hide the network and support that the guy gets from his community. So I must tell you, the violent jihad in Europe is really important now, and it puts a lot of pressure, especially economic pressure. You can see that, for example, the hotel industry is devastated in France. Restaurants, public places, you know, we have a very low frequentation, so it's disturbing. But this is not my main concern. My main concern is civilizational, I can't make it, well, it's jihad to the society, okay? What we call creeping Islamization of the Western world. And it's happening with the complicity of the usual suspects and of the useful idiots, namely the mainstream media, most of the politicians, and most of the religious authorities. And we have in front triumphalist Islam, which is trying to impose its way of life. through violent and creeping Sharia. It is taking over the Muslim population, and it is also intimidating the non-Muslim population. Look at what's happening with Ramadan policies, hijabs, burqas, and now burkinis, as you've seen in Europe. But I'm telling you something. Burqas, burkinis, and hijab has nothing to do with freedom of religion. It has everything to do with the kind of societies they want to impose on us, and that they're trying to destroy our society. So I have something for you now, which will come to the screen in a minute. Would you like to know what's happening after the burqa? I just need to tell you something. Exactly 10 days ago, I was in Abu Dhabi, okay, in a Gulf state. I was at the airport, and I had the chance to meet, I had to meet someone, and I took a picture. I would like you to show the picture that I took in Abu Dhabi 10 days ago. Okay, this is the next step. Okay, a muzzle. We're talking now with women with muzzles. Okay, this is what you're seeing in Abu Dhabi. And she doesn't have the right to look up, so she has to look down with a muzzle. Okay, this is really frightening to me. Okay, so now let me talk to you about the useful idiots and their allies. It's sometimes difficult to distinguish between the two of them. Okay, some European politicians count on the Islamic vote to win the elections. And along with, I would say, electoral calculations, there is an outright corruption. You know, the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all these countries poured so much money into the French political world and media world that they are depending, we have many politicians who are depending on this money. And of course, along with these people who are trying to destroy, you have all the Marxists and the self-hating Westerners who are allies of these people. I'm asking you a question. How can the Pope, okay, Francis said on July 31st, he said, just after a priest was beheaded in France, when I speak about Islamic violence, I have to talk about Catholic violence. Isn't it crazy? And after he went to visit some refugee camps, did he bring 12 Christian refugees, you know, who are really under huge pressure in the Islamic world? No, he brought 12 Muslim refugees. That's crazy. I mean, if he doesn't feel that he has a responsibility for the Christian, I think he's not doing his job. And I'm asking you another question. What about Angela Merkel? What is she doing? Angela Merkel, she's opened the doors of Germany and of Europe to so many people. And I'm asking you, is she a useful idiot, or is she the accomplice of this project? So to summarize my views, I'd like to tell you something. We used to believe that the westernization of the world was the desired future of all mankind. But we now have to understand that this belief competes with another one, that Islam should dominate the world. Islam is the third totalitarianism we are facing, but Islam is very different. Nazism and communism had been produced by our societies, and we were able to defeat them because we knew how it was fabricated. But Islam was made outside of our world, outside of our societies, and advances with the rise of anti-Westernist ideologues. We have not found yet the appropriate strategies to defeat it, but maybe in the Q&A I will be able to give my suggestions. Thank you very much.